Hi, it's Simon from Real Tail Trader, I should say. Nearly couldn't get the words out then. Yeah, just recently started the channel just to share some of my thoughts and some of the stuff I'm doing in the forex, FX, currency market, whatever you wish to call it. Yeah, first thing probably to say is that what I'm showing here, none of it is advice, none of it is recommending you go out and do this stuff. It's kind of I call it a currency vlog. This is a record of some of the activity that I'm doing. It's a great way for me to go and review some of the stuff that I'm doing and also share some of the things I'm learning with people that might be interested, whether you're experienced or whether you're brand new to the, I should say, murky world of retail currency trading. That's why I call it Real Tail. The idea behind that is that I've seen a lot of nonsense in the currency markets, particularly in the education space. And what I'm going to try and do is show you some of the stuff that I'm doing that hopefully cuts through that. So yeah, what you often find is when people are making trades and they do this kind of stuff online, they only show the stuff where they win. So what I thought I'd do, I'll show you one of my setups. This is my 3 p.m. momentum setup. Basically, I've got an entry signal here on Euro Australian dollar short. I entered on the close of the 3 p.m. candle here. This is my entry here, 15779. I've got a stop here 15 points behind or 15 pips behind, and a stop here 15 pips ahead. When I get to what I call T1, my target one, I'll take 50% of that position off and I'll let the rest roll. I'll probably, given that we have some structure down here where we may meet some buying, what I'll probably do once T1's hit, assuming T1's hit, who knows, you never know in the market, I would set a limit order down here to take off the full position, which gives me around about a 1.5, 1.75 risk reward ratio. And I'm just going to drag something across from the other screen. I haven't just picked this currency pair at random. This is some calculations that I do. I have a number of different things which I can talk more about in future videos. Weekly relative strength, daily relative strength, overnight relative strength, and momentum relative strength. And what I'm doing here, I'm looking at 3 o'clock comparison between the price at 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, various overnight signals here in terms of direction of travel, and then I look at the daily 10 EMA, which is an exponential moving average, to see which pairs are eligible to trade, and then I pick the best opportunity at 3 o'clock. I do that in the morning as well at early start. Do that in the morning at 7 o'clock. This morning I traded Aussie yen long. I'll show you that in a second. Let me just move this across here. So my Aussie yen this morning, exactly the same setup in reverse. So I entered the trade here, and this was my stop, this was my target, hit the target fairly quickly. I generally find that when I'm trading stuff, if things happen fairly quickly, that's a good indication. If things are starting to take too long, then that's generally not good news in my experience. And then what I did, just put that arrow in there, I moved my stop to break even or to entry once target one was hit. And now what I'm looking for here is a secondary target. And the reason I'm looking at the secondary target there and not just rolling is that if I look across here, you'll see that we're at the top of a range, or about the top of a range on the daily chart. So likely to result in some selling up here. Yeah, just gonna not get greedy. I think that one of the key things is not to get greedy in the currency markets. One of my big learning things from recent years was the ability or making myself take profits. I seem to be quite good at picking the direction of the market, but one of the problems I had was taking profits along the way. And what would happen is price would go in my favor, it would then reverse on me and stop me out, usually for a loss, even though I had an open profit. But an open profit until you take it is not a profit. It's simply in the broker system. So yeah, so I use these T1s, T2s, etc. now to make sure that I'm taking profit more frequently. So as you can see, this is getting towards target. There's no guarantee it's going to get there. There's the spread on the pair to take into account, so it needs to punch through that slightly. The other thing you'll notice on here, I've got these three lines. This is my 50 simple moving average. This is the 200 moving average. This is for the 30-minute time frame. What I've got here, this dotted line, that is my, let me get this right, 30, it's up here, that's my 30 exponential moving average, and this is my 10 exponential moving average. Now I tend not to have too many indicators on my charts. I have some proprietary signals up here. I tend to use moving averages from reading the books about some of the greatest traders that have been. They tend to place a lot of emphasis, in my opinion anyway, on moving averages. You'll see I don't have any of these oscillator things at the bottom of my chart. What I'm looking for is a relationship here to the bigger time frame. And if we look at Euro AUD, you'll see we're at the bottom of the range, but probably enough energy to get down and hit my target was my calculation. Yeah, I look at the bigger time frames and then look at the shorter time periods as well. The 30-minute chart, I trade this at 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. if a signal crops up, but I tend to do more longer term stuff. So I do stuff on the 4-hour chart and use the daily and the weekly to determine when I get in and when I get out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this now, and then I'm going to come back and see whether we've hit this and report back on that. If it's a loss, I'll also let you know that. Losses are part of the game, providing your risk reward is in the right direction. Losses don't matter too much in the long run. Yeah, I'll see where we get to, and I'll finish the video in a second with that result. Okay, so just jumping back in, a little bit of time has elapsed, and as you'll see, there's a bit of resistance coming back this way. Temptation can be to try and take profits early, but I'm not going to do that. I set my rules. My rules are written down. I review those before I trade, and my job is not to overanalyze. My job is to follow my rules and trust in the fact that if I follow my rules, I have a positive expectancy based on probability, not certainty, that I'll be profitable in the long run. Just while this works its way through, I'm just going to show you this. You'll see this big drop here. This was overnight news in Australia. The news is not something I trade, but the news can be useful because the news often triggers stops. So all of these people that were buying ahead of, late on in the probably the US session, I guess, and overnight, the news came out. People start reacting to that. All this pressure down here, and a lot of this down here is triggering of stops. So these are people that have bought, they've got buy orders in the market, they have stops under the market, generally day traders, short-term traders, and as the price touches their stop, of course, if they're buying, they've got to sell to get out, so it adds to the selling pressure. And looking at my Forex Factory feed, great website this is for news, the one I tend to use. You'll see here building approvals 19.1% against a forecast of where are we, lost it now, minus 1.7%. so big news, big surprise news, and the news tends to have power when it surprises the market, and that's exactly what happened here. So my bias today, I don't really like to use that word bias because I don't have bias in the market. I'll trade either way, short and long. I have a separate broker account for both. You'll see that here my bias on this trade, which is where my signal showed up, was long. I guess no coincidence, buying Aussie dollar, and here, where are we? Ooh, there we go. Here effectively I'm selling, buying Aussie dollar. I'll start again. Buying Aussie dollar again against the euro. I guess it's no surprise to see this momentum here, and that's what I'm banking on. Right, I'm going to pause now, and I'll be back once we have the result on the trade. Okay, back with the trade. Price came down. Took my order entry out here to take off half the position, and then I rolled the stop. Let me put that in there. To protect myself. Always got to protect your downside ahead of your profit. Roll the stop down to entry here, and price reversed back and took out the stop. So a 1-for-1 trade there, risk reward 1-for-1. Let's have a look at what's happening here on the trade from 7 o'clock this morning. Yep, 7 a.m. this morning. So yeah, just consolidating here. I already have profit in this trade, having taken off half of the position, but we'll just see if we can tap that out at the top there. So yeah, just in this video, just wanted to show you a live trade, what I call my momentum trade. I trade those at 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. Yeah, just thought I'd share that out. It's a record for me, and a live trade there that may spark some ideas or some thoughts with you. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll be back with another video very, very soon.